Hey there, everyone. So, one of my New Year's resolutions for 2021 was to read audiobooks on my way to work, on my commute in the morning. And I have about an hour commute, so half hour each way. And I figured I could get a lot of reading done and learn a lot. And I wanted to make a point of reading self-development books specifically. And so I thought part of my content for these videos would be to share some of what I've been reading, because it's been very eye-opening. And I've been making a lot of connections too with other things I've read, and I wanted to share some of that too. So I started with kind of good books for, as you're starting out with New Year's resolutions, on creating and sustaining habits and the importance of having good habits. So one book was called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I'll put this down in the description too, but and also The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. So here's kind of one of the main ideas. I think this one comes from The Compound Effect. If somebody offered you a choice between either $3 million right now or 1 penny that doubled in value every day for a month, what would you choose? Well, if you heard this before, and you are wise, you would choose the penny, because the penny that doubles in value every day for a month will be worth over $10 million at the end of 31 days. Much more than the $3 million that you would take with the other offer. But what's very interesting about this idea, I thought, was that the penny does not pull ahead of the other author or the other offer until like the last 3 days of the month. It doubles every day, and so on day 29 it's worth 2.5 million, and on day 30 it's worth 5 million, and on day 31 it's 10 million, something like that. And so he says what oftentimes looks to us like an overnight success in somebody's life is really the result of a small habit that compounds and starts to bear fruit seemingly all of a sudden. I mean, it's bearing fruit all along, but habits, they're small things that only become visible, like in the material world, pretty late in the game, kind of like the penny. Like the penny only increases substantially in value towards the end of the month. And so he says, a lot of things in our life are the result of these compound habits that have far-reaching effects that we can't even imagine, something as simple as, brushing your teeth every night or something like that. I mean, it affects more than just your teeth, right? It affects your general health. It affects how you look. It might affect job prospects, or I mean, it has far-reaching effects beyond, but it's a habit that seems like a very small thing in the moment, but the effects of it are compounding. And so he says that we have so many little habits. Everything from what we do when we get up in the morning to all kinds of routines throughout the day. Maybe we check the news when we get a free moment, or all kinds of little habits, most of which we are not aware of, and that's the key thing. And these habits compound to produce effects in our life, and we're not even aware that they're happening. And some of the habits are good, some of the habits are bad. I've heard that it takes 18 months to create a habit, to make a habit to the point where you actually have to make a special effort to break this habit. Like if after 18 months, if you did something every day for 18 months, then that is such an established habit that that's going to be very hard to break. And if that's a good habit, that's a good thing. It's kind of like I've gotten to that point with exercising. I mean, exercising is something that I have done for so long, every day. If I don't go for a run, I don't feel right. And so these compound habits are kind of like that. They become automatic. They start out small, they get bigger, and and most of them are unconscious. So, if you've ever seen anyone, seems like everything they touch turns to gold, and they don't know why. It's the result of compound habits, more than likely. Likewise, you've ever seen people that, seem to walk around with a dark cloud over their head. Everything seems to go wrong. That's often me, I know. Also the result of compound habits. Then I came across this quote by Carl Jung that really kind of, made the point for me. He says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, the unconscious will run your life and you will call it fate." Until you make the unconscious conscious, the unconscious will run your life and you will call it fate. So that's today's learning. Have a good one, everyone.